Hello and welcome back to a day in film. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these. I've been sticking more to the podcast kind of episodes, but I just wanted to switch it up to see the response. Again, it's as always, it's completely unscripted, and forgive me if I stutter or kind of fumble on my words. It's hard to talk for like 12 minutes straight. I'm not going to be artificially extending it. If I don't have much to say about a movie, I won't say much about a movie. I will probably not be reading my little review at the end like I normally do, but I will still give you a number on what I thought about the movie, even though films are more than numbers. With that all out of the way, I'd appreciate a sub and a like, and maybe a comment too. Anyway, so today today as in Monday, September 16th, I watched Minority Report. I literally just finished this movie. It is a Tom Cruise starring Steven Spielberg directed film from, I want to say, the early 2000s. And man, I'd been waiting to watch this movie for a really long time. For a good while now, I've been wanting to get more into Tom Cruise because he really is like the most all-American actor there is. I don't know if there's one person who's been more impactful on the film industry, like career, like all of his career. Pretty much his entire way through, he's been helping out actors, and you can tell he really loves film. And what better director is there to pair up with if you love film than Steven Spielberg? Because, man, he brings so much to this movie, and Spielberg, the two combined is just insane. It's, to summarize Minority Report, kinda, it's a movie where, in the future, they developed a system through future predicting humans where they can tell when someone is going to try and kill someone else, so they send basically police over to stop the death right before it happens and arrest the criminal. Already, it's a really interesting concept. I'm pretty sure it's from a short story I said at the end. I can't tell you exactly who wrote it, but I think it's a very great concept for a movie, and it really brings into question not only like power and things like that, but just how dystopian the world can get. Minority Report is all about, not all about, but one of the biggest factors is the eyes. Everything is based off like retinal scans, and there are multiple scenes in the movie where Tom Cruise's character is walking through a room or a gap or a hallway with a bunch of ads, and they're all scanning his eyes and saying his full name to him. Like, oh, hey, John, whatever his name was, looks like you could use a vacation. Like, it's great to show how extreme like marketing and things like that will get if it's allowed to. And I think the visual design overall is actually one of the best aspects of this movie. Just seeing the totally like deprived of humanity huge super city and the almost horrifying cars, seeing how they all move pretty much perfectly and they're like hovering over lines and stuff. It's crazy. And seeing how willing everyone is to sacrifice their freedom to prevent crime, it feels so anti-American, but in the same way, it feels like a very realistic direction for the world to go in. And in a lot of ways, this movie kind of reminded me of Upgrade. Not that they're really similar kinds of movies, but just conceptually, with the drones flying around and keeping people safe kind of thing, and the police being an all-watching eye thing. It's a really cool idea, and it puts into perspective how easy it is to kind of switch this balance that we've known for ages. I want to say this movie takes place in like 2050 or something like that. Like it's not as far as people think it is, and if we don't show any like pushback, that's just what the world is going to become. Visually, I think this film was incredible. Something about the way Spielberg handles the camera and frames the shots and stuff, it looks so dreamy almost. And in this movie especially, everything looks so washed out. And a lot of his movies, the colors are really vibrant, they really pop. Like the green and yellow Jeep in Jurassic Park, or the bright blue water and the bright red blood in Jaws. In this movie, everything feels really devoid of color, and I think it was very purposeful because of the futuristic setting. Seeing everything get zapped of color other than the colorful ads on the wall for Dasani and for Gap and for whatever product it may be, I think it's a really neat kind of way to show how like crushed the world really is at that point. Seeing Tom Cruise work through the pre-crime system or whatever it's called. It's slipping my name or my mind right now. But seeing him work his fingers through it and edit pictures and zoom in and zoom out, slide it away, all that stuff is really cool. You could tell Tom Cruise was really into it, as he seems to be for pretty much every single one of his movies. And the other half of this movie, if you could even call it, it's actually a bulk of the movie where he's on the run for something that he, well, not to spoil it, but for something that he does in a vision. Just seeing the lengths he goes to get away, and you see a lot of the seedy underbelly of the world as well. There's a lot of really great little like world building moments, like the guy who replaces eyes, the guy who puts people in simulations for whatever they want, you know, whether it's prawn or like an Oscars acceptance speech, or he's skydiving, you know, whatever it may be. These people will do anything just to kind of blast out of the world, and it kind of reminded me of Cyberpunk in a couple ways, you know. And you know, I know Cyberpunk, actually the board game might have been before this, but I know the game was obviously probably heavily inspired by Minority Report, but I like to draw little similarities, especially because Cyberpunk is such an all-encompassing piece of like science fiction media. You know, you could find pretty much any and everything in Cyberpunk and link it back to another movie or book or TV show, whatever it may be. While I do really like this movie, there are definitely some flaws. I think that the characters are a little iffy, other than Tom Cruise and the other guy who I'm forgetting the name of, the guy who's trying to take over the office. Other than those two, and the main bad guy and the main mind reader lady, other than those people, no one else really matters. Like his crew especially. I would have liked if we got a little bit more development from him. The only one I really remember is the black guy, and everyone else is kind of throwaway. Oh, and, okay. As I'm saying this, I'm realizing that there's a lot of really good characterization in Minority Report, but I still would have appreciated a couple more important characters, or a broader view even. This all feels like a very local story for some reason, even though it's like world changing. You know, they're trying to get the future crimes division to be global instead of just like DC or wherever it is. I think they could have done better with that, and I think they also could have done better with just like expanding the world. I know I already said it was really great, but I would have appreciated even more, like getting in your face and showing you how unhuman this world that humans still live in is. And I also think the music could have been better. Spielberg is pretty consistent with his music, at least from the movies I've seen. You know, Jaws, Jurassic Park, E.T., all these movies he has incredible soundtracks, John Williams has incredible soundtracks for. And I don't think this movie was composed by him. It definitely sounds like it was composed by someone else. And you can tell because the music feels very background in this film. All the best uses of music were from other, or like prior made songs. Like when he's locking in on his little future scanning device thing. The opening of the movie rocks. Seeing Tom Cruise like fully locked in only like 4 minutes into the movie is really cool. And finding more about Tom Cruise is really cool too, because in a lot of movies he plays the same kind of emotionally not there guy. And then watching him, you know, finding out about his dead son, and, you know, shaky relationship with his wife, and just how angry he is, and, you know, he's on drugs. You really care for this guy, which is hard to do, especially for a cop character whose only goal at this point in the movie, when you're finding all these things out, is to find out why he was predicted to have killed someone. The theme of like government corruption too in this movie, or the urge to just hold on to what the guy made. You know, he invented the program or whatever. Just seeing how desperate he is to hold on to it, even if he has to kill someone, which kind of directly goes against everything else they were doing, is really cool. And I mean, overall, this is a very strong film from Tom Cruise and from Spielberg and from everyone involved. It's a very strong piece of future or science fiction. I would compare it to iRobot, because for some reason there are a lot of similarities in my head that are just popping up, even though I've never seen iRobot. I think this is a very formative work of science fiction media, especially for movies and shows made after this. Even like Blade Runner, seeing Officer K's little drone fly out of his car and go scan the area, and all the retinal scanning stuff. It's very showing, or very clear how impactful this movie was on science fiction as a genre. But I don't think I really have much else to say. I gave this movie an 8 out of 10. I think it's a definite highlight in Tom Cruise's career and Spielberg's career. I really enjoyed this movie, and it's a fun watch. For being as serious as it is, Tom Cruise brings a lot of not comedy to the movie, but he makes it very easy to watch. You still feel bad for him, obviously, and what's happening is objectively bad. But seeing him interact with other people and just how dedicated he is, it's a very good movie to watch. In the same way that I hate to make the comparison, but in the same way that Forrest Gump is an easy movie to kind of throw on and just have in the background, Minority Report is probably, I can't say, I've never put it on in the background, but probably a very easy movie to just kind of have on while you're folding laundry or something. Yeah, I loved it. The visual's great, cinematography's great, the score needs some work, the story's great, the characters are pretty good. Overall, it's an 8 out of 10. It's a great movie, and I'm very happy to have finally watched it. But with that all out of the way, I hope you enjoyed my... It's probably going to even out to about 12 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed my rambles. In doing it, I actually kind of really enjoyed the shorter form of content, and I hope you all enjoy it too, especially because it makes it easier for you to just kind of hyper-focus on whatever movie you want to hear me talk about. I hope to have at least 7 of these out by the end of the week. But, I guess we'll see how my movie watching schedule is. It's not easy being a student and a film bro, let me tell you guys. But actually, finally, all done. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I will see you in the theaters. Bye-bye.